Good evening, guys. Good evening, everyone. So
Good
yesterday
evening.
I covered like waterfall model, what is waterfall model and application architecture, what is meant by architecture diagram, isn't it? What is meant by architecture diagram and what is two-tier architecture, what is three-tier architecture, and what is n-tier architecture, isn't it? So the next topic that I want to cover is performance testing life cycle. Okay, I covered till here yesterday, isn't it? Okay, and I also covered testing life cycle in one of the previous sessions. Now let's understand the performance testing life cycle. So end-to-end process. What is the end-to-end process in any performance testing project? Right? That is performance testing life cycle. That's what I mean to say. Okay. Suppose like some client, any organization, any company or any client want to do performance testing for their application, or if they want to do functional testing for their application, whatever testing that is, whether it can be functional testing or automation testing or performance testing, security testing, right, integration testing, anything. It can be any type of testing. Suppose some client or some company want to do performance testing for their website, right, or for their application, mobile application or a web application. First thing what they will do is they will float something called RFI. Okay, they will float something called RFI into the market. RFI, where RFI stands for request for information. I'll show you some sample RFI and RFP documents, and I'll share you, if required, I'll share the appropriate documents. First, let me open your batch notes, and I shared this class notes with everyone, isn't it? By the way, I asked you to explore what is meant by cookie. Have you done that, case?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you explain what is meant by a cookie?
Cookies are small pieces of information that website stores in our computer.
Okay. Computer means where they will be stored.
In browser, sir.
In browser, and the information contains the bits of data, bits of text.
Your voice is breaking, Lavanya.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, now it's better.
Yeah, the cookies contain only bits of text.
Okay. So cookies are small piece of information that will be stored in our browser. And what is the purpose of this? See, you remember, like, or you might have observed this, right? When we access some websites, they will display some notification that we want to store cookies and to track the information or preferences and all. So we have to click agree or accept, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? So cookies are small piece of information that will be stored in our browser, right? And they will, once you accept that cookies, right, accept for storing cookies, they'll be tracking like what websites you are visiting and all this, right? Your preferences to know what you are looking for and all this, right? For example, if you search for some, if you search for some computer table in any website, Amazon or Flipkart, right, you will start getting mails, from next day onwards or next, after 1 or 2 days, right? So you'll start getting some advertisements related to those. Did you observe that any time?
Yes, sir.
You, or else, Google also starts displaying some, you get something into promotions, right? You'll get some, like links like from these, there are some, second this. Before last year, I searched for computer table in Amazon or Flipkart. From next day onwards, I started seeing some mails from Pepperfry and all this. Okay, there are many online websites for furniture also, right? What are the other website, guys, apart from Pepperfry? Royal Oak. Okay. Okay, right? So I started getting mails from Pepperfry, right? You got from the next day, the very next day, because what they do is when we shop for any website, right, any product, right, they will track, what are you looking for, and they, like Google or those websites, information will be stored, shared with those, e-commerce sites, and they start sending you from, in the ads like this, right? Ads on those products. Understood, guys? Or else if you visit any website, right, they will display you advertisements. They will display some advertisements. Suppose you searched for some flat apartment. Right? Next day onwards, like you'll suppose if you visit enorder.net or any other news website or anything, they'll start displaying those ads, related ads. So that is the purpose of the cookies. Are that is one of the purpose of cookies, guys, right? So explore more on this. What are cookies and how they are? What are there are three different types of cookies. What are they? Even some persistent cookies, right? And session cookies. Cookies are of two types: session cookies and persistent cookies. Okay, explore more on this. Okay, I will cover this later on, anyways. But meanwhile, explore more on this, these cookies. I'll explain this. Like once we start the scripting, I'll explain that. Right? It is too early now to cover in the sessions, so I'll explain it later. Now, so suppose if a company want to do performance testing for their website or their mobile application, right? So they float something called RFI, where RFI stands for, yes, I mentioned just now, guys.
Request for information.
Request for information. Okay. Request for information. And who respond to this RFI is service-based companies respond to this RFI. Service-based companies will be always, there will be a team called demand generation team or sales team in any company, any service-based software company. There will be a separate team for sales team. They are also called as demand generation team. They will be looking, they will be looking to get some projects. Okay. And they will, get that information where those, RFIs are floated, right? They will get that information and they will respond to that RFIs. Here, guys. Guys, able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right? So service-based companies, sales team or demand generation team will be responding to that RFI. Right? I'll show you one sample RFI, then you will get a clear understanding. Okay. Sorry, guys. So when did I stop? I think while opening the RFI document, I stopped it, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right? So anyways, I'll share the previous recorded session. You can find it in the demo sessions itself. Okay. By mistake, I did not resume recording. So, but you understood the concept, right? Till here.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, once we get the test plan approval for the test plan, right? Now, team will start working on scripting. Right? We already discussed what are the critical business flows. We'll collect all those critical business flows in the requirement gathering phase. See here. So that you will be collecting in the business requirements category. If you observe here, have you identified the performance scenarios of your application? Right? So whatever application, what are the important business flows of your application? We'll ask here. Now client will respond saying that these are my critical business flows. Login. For example, if you are testing Facebook application, what are the critical business flows for Facebook? You log into Facebook. Everyone use Facebook, right? What do you do normally with Facebook? This is what you do, right? On Facebook application.
Yes, sir.
Right? So you log into Facebook, or you view the post, or you add some posts, or you you comment on some posts, right? You upload some photos, or you send some invitation to your friends, chatting and all this. Yes or no? These are the critical business flows for Facebook application. So in the same way, we will ask the client, what are the critical business flows of your application? Client will only provide that information 90% of the times, 99% of the times. Client will be providing that information. Okay. So based on this, like we start scripting. Once we get the requirements, right, we prepare a test plan document, and then once we get an approval for that, then we start scripting. Now in scripting phase, all the resources will be involved now. Junior resources, senior resources, all the resources will be involved. And once the junior resources do some scripting, right, develop some scripts, right, some senior resource or your team lead or project lead should review the scripts ideally. Okay. They should verify your scripts. Understood, guys? They should verify whether they are working properly or not. They will verify. I know. Ideally, they will do that. Okay. So if they are lazy or if they don't have time, we can't do anything. So you can, but that will mess up things further. So if there is no script review and if someone commits some mistake in scripting, right, that will escalate on some or other stage, right? So once you start scripting, right, someone should review your scripts and do sanity testing of each script. Sanity testing of each script means someone should run the scripts, execute those scripts and verify whether they are working or not as expected. Clear, guys? And once the sanity testing is done for each script, right, we will set up the test environment. Okay, we'll set up some test environment, right? So what is this? Let's understand what is meant by this test environment. Okay, for example, if you are doing testing for IRCTC or Red Bus application, right? Or I will take IRCTC application as an example. Suppose you have to do testing for IRCTC. So you develop one script for for log registration, user account creation, one script for searching tickets, one script for booking tickets, and all this, right? And where do you test all these? You will not be testing in the production. Please understand or please remember, you will not be testing in production because production environment will be used by real-time users. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It will be used by the customers. Now you should not use that environment. We already discussed this, that this performance testing will be carried out in an environment called, what is that?
Test
When I
environment.
explained test life cycle, testing life cycle, right? I explained that. Yes.
Test environment.
Test environment or engineering environment. Some companies call it as engineering environment. Some organizations call it as test environment. What is meant by environment here, guys? Environment means nothing but servers on which your application is running. Okay, so you'll be running you will do all your performance testing activities in the test environment. So for that we have to set up, sometimes the environment may be already existing, otherwise we will set up the test environment. Understood, guys? Means test environment means they will give you some computers and to use for testing. Now, and also your application also it will be, they will provide a test environment in which your application is running. Okay, means separate computers on which your application is running. Okay, for testing. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right now, then you do smoke testing, something called smoke testing or sanity or a dry run or a trial run or a shakeout test. All these terms are one and the same. Smoke test anna, sanity anna, dry run anna, trial run anna, or shakeout test anna. All these are one and the same. And what, right? So why I mentioned all these terms is like different companies use different terminology. Some organizations call it as smoke testing, some call it as sanity testing. Those who don't like that word smoke, right, they will say that sanity testing. Some organizations call it as a dry run. Okay, some organizations call it as a shakeout test. So what is the purpose of this shakeout test or a trial run is to verify if the scripts are working fine and the environment is working fine, and to rule out any environment issues or script issues, right? Now you may ask, like, ikkada testing chesam kada each script ki, then why should we check the scripts again here, right? Here, when you are doing script review, right, when your team lead or project lead is doing script review, he will verify on his machine, his laptop or his desktop. Okay, but here this smoke test or sanity test should be done in the test environment. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
మనం ఏ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ లో అయితే టెస్ట్ చేయబోతున్నామో ఇన్ దట్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంట్ ఓన్లీ దిస్ శానిటీ టెస్టింగ్ ఆర్ డ్రై రన్ ఆర్ ట్రయల్ రన్ షుడ్ బి డన్, సో దట్ you will come to know that if there are any environment issues or access issues and all this, right? Before doing the actual test like load test, soak test, right? So you have to first do a trial run or a dry run or a shakeout test or a sanity test or a smoke test. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Very important interview question. Can you explain what is performance testing life cycle? Or else, can you explain what are your roles and responsibilities end to end? What are you involved into? Right? You have to explain each of these, in detail, right? And remember, this would be one of the first 5 questions. So if you answer these fundamental basic questions well, right, there is a proverb, right? First impression is the best impression. Ani. If you answer these questions perfectly, that positive impression will be spill over throughout the interview. Mottam interview అయ్యేంత వరకు that that impact will be there if you answer these questions properly and if you explain well these questions. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Right now, once a trial run or a dry run is done, right, you will start the text executions, right? So, and there are different types of performance testing we already discussed in the previous session, last to last session, right? We have load test, stress test, soak test, and all this. So based on the requirement, you will do different types of testing. Based on the application and based on the requirement, you will do different types of testing. And you will first, as soon as the test is completed, we have to share a high level report. 1 or 2 pages now, you have to share a high level report. Okay. Means high level report means it should contain what is the test time frame. I'll show you one sample high level report. Okay. And you can take some 1 or 2 days and prepare a detailed report as well. Most of the clients, they will ask you one high level report as soon as the test is completed, and they will ask you to prepare a detailed report in 1 or 2 days. Okay, so this is reporting phase. Next comes reporting phase in the performance testing life cycle after test executions. And while we are preparing the report, right, detailed report, right, we will analyze the test results and provide some recommendations to the client. For example, there are some performance issues in the application. Response times ఎక్కువ వస్తున్నాయి ఒక application కి, right? We have to analyze the test results and we have to give some recommendations. Again, those who are entering new to performance, those who are beginners in performance testing, right? If you are good in this requirement gathering, test plan preparation, scripting, and executions, that is good enough. Okay, this reporting and analysis and recommendations, that will be done by senior resources. Understood, guys? Some of you are already thinking that, oh, we need to do these many activities in performance testing. Yes or no? How many of you thought in that way?
Yes, sir.
Only 2 people thought in that way?
Most of us.
Most of you, right? So
Yes, sir.
those who are having those who are keeping 3 years experience are freshers, right? Freshers, they will give you only scripting task. Okay, they will ask you to do some scripting, that's it. Test executions and all will be done by some sort of senior software engineers or team leads. Okay, so based on how many years experience you keep, right? Based on the organization also, it depends on our organization also, right? So you will have these roles and responsibilities, right? So once you execute a test, we need to prepare a high level report and detailed report. While preparing detailed report, right, we will analyze the test results and we'll provide some recommendations. We'll say that, guys, login is taking more time than expected. For example, login is taking 10 seconds, right? And there should be some issue with this login transaction. And someone developer should look into that, or DBA should look into that, right? So we'll provide, also, we will analyze the test results and we can provide some recommendations. If we know that what is the issue, we can tell that in the report, right? And once we provide some recommendation or our report, right, development team will fix those issues, try to fix that issue, and they will again come for a testing to validate the tuning, application tuning. Application tuning means, I'll give some example here. Suppose you are having a 2-wheeler or a 4-wheeler, right? And occasionally, suppose you are not getting mileage, you are not getting good mileage, or you are not getting good pickup. Yes or no? Right? So what do? You go to a service center or you go to a mechanic, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? So mechanic or the technician will do a test ride, right? First he will do a test ride and see what is the issue. Yes or no?
Yes,
And
sir.
he will also ask you what are the, what is there any problem? What are the problems with the vehicle and all, right? He'll ask you first, and then he will go for a test ride. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And he will fix that issue. He will do servicing and he will do the engine tuning and all. Then again, after doing that, again he will go ask you, he will go for a test ride, or he will ask you to check that once. Yes or no? ఇప్పుడు పికప్ బాగుందా లేదా చూడండి అని చెప్పని అడుగుతాడు. మీకు ఇచ్చాము, డెలివరీ ఇచ్చాము. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that is, he did some engine tuning. He did some repair to your vehicle, or he tuned the engine, and he will ask you to verify if pickup is good or not, if mileage is good or not. He'll ask you to check that, right? So in the same way, I will come to your questions, guys. If you find out some performance issues, right, you will provide some recommendations to the client, right? And development team or DBA team will implement those recommendations, and they will ask you to retest, right? Because they have to confirm that ఈ changes వల్ల whatever changes are done, is there really any improvement or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So in the same way here, so for that purpose, they will ask you to do another round of testing. That is validation of application tuning. Means you made some development team made some changes to the application. We have to validate whether performance is improved or not. That is called as validation of application tuning. And bottleneck elimination. Till those performance issues are eliminated, we do this retesting, and we do this validation, analyzing the test results and providing recommendations, right? And once all the performance issues are identified and resolved, right, then we will prepare a final report and ask for a sign off, means project closure, right? So then client should send a mail saying that yes, the project is completed, right? Then you will get the final payment from the client. If everything is done as per their satisfaction and expectation, then they will release the final payment. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Then the project closes, right? So this is a typical performance testing life cycle. This is what happens from the moment before getting the project to till closure of the project. These are the different activities that will be carried out in a service-based company. Now I'll take a pause here. If you have any queries, we'll discuss and we'll shut down for today, wrap up for today.
Pawan, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Pawan, you have been explaining that testing reviews.
Your voice is not clear, Hari.
Sorry.
Is it audible now?
It's better now. Yes, it's good now.
Okay, then. Thank you. Okay. You have been explaining that so performance test engineer or a senior performance test engineer also needs to sometimes engage with the setup preparation for their scripts execution actually. Okay, so assume there is an application where there is a online selling platform like Amazon, Flipkart, or something actually. So in order to do the checkout of my identified items actually, there that involves that third-party payment gateways like Visa or Master actually. So in that case, actually, how should I until unless my client provides some kind of a access to that actual third-party gateways with some dummy details or something, or how it will be handled?
Yeah, in case of checkout and all these, right, client will provide you some test, sample credit card numbers, okay, which are dummy, right? But application will accept that. They will do that setup and all, right? So if you enter that credit card or debit card details, it will accept. The client will provide you some, some sample credit card or debit card details. And it's their headache, like it is the headache of the client to take care of that.
And the one more question is like, so person with 3 or 4 years of experience with the performance testing, to what extent he will be confident about coming up with the test plan?
If you have, if someone is having like 3 years of experience, right? So maybe they may not be like submitting, they may be drafting the initial version. Then like your team lead or project lead will review it and add some information. So they will not leave completely to that guy, like to prepare a test plan and send it to the client. Anyways, there will be review process, right? Your team lead or project lead will review it. If they feel that you are capable, if that guy is capable, then they will give that. Otherwise, they will only prepare the test plan. See, these are the roles and responsibilities of a performance tester. developing scripts for all the critical business flows, ensure environment and test data are appropriate, performance test execution, monitoring, right? Preparation of individual performance reports. See, there, it's not fixed actually. So it depends on project to project. Okay. Most of the projects, like they will, those who are having the 2 years or 3 years experience, they will be involved mostly in scripting. If there is, that team hierarchy, if you have a team lead or project lead, right? But if you are individual contributor, right? So some companies, some product-based companies particularly, they will have individual contributor roles. Means one person only should take from end to end, right? So in that case, that resource, that individual contributor should do everything from requirement gathering, test plan preparation, scripting, executions, and all this. So normally that's why we suggest that those who are not having the genuine experience, right? So they should go for a service-based company first. They should not go, and in a team, as a team, like wherever, they should not go for an individual contributor role. Those who are not having genuine experience, right? It's not recommended to go for a individual contributor role, or it's not recommended to go for a product-based company. Okay, better they go to a service-based company, so that, because if it is a product-based company, right, they will have limited number of projects, applications. But if it is a service-based company, right, so this guy may fit in any of the projects, some or other project. But if it's a product-based company, right, if they are recruiting you, they will recruit for particular projects. Understood, guys? So if the application is very complex, right, then if this guy, like, who is just trained and who don't have experience, genuine experience, right, he'll be in trouble, or the project also will be in trouble. So for those who are keeping experience, like, we always recommend to go for a service-based company, and in it, team member role. Don't go for a individual contributor role.
Pawan, one more
And if you
further.
observe here, these are, yeah, 1 second, let me complete this. So these are the roles and responsibilities of a performance tester. Suppose if there is some senior performance tester or a lead, right? He will also do all these, like, he cannot say that I don't do scripting. Along with those roles and responsibilities of a performance tester, he should lead the technical discussions, own performance and resilience test plan, test strategy, right? So see, observe here, senior performance tester they should own the test plan or test strategy, preparing test strategy document, coordination and monitoring of performance and related activities, right? And understand the application, create test approach document, identify key business process in the application. They will have more roles and responsibilities. Generally, senior performance testing engineer or a lead. But mostly, like, performance tester, like, they will be involved in requirement gathering, scripting, executions. Yeah, you are asking something else.
Yeah. Pawan, I have one more follow-up question. Pawan, in real time, is there any client that they will ask, or they will give any test environment in the AWS or somewhere, and they will just share the credentials, and we can do the performance testing over there?
Yes. Yeah, nowadays all projects are moving to cloud. Most of the projects already moved to cloud, right? So most of the projects already moved to cloud, and those who are running on-premise applications also, they're gradually moving to cloud environment.
Okay, so when we are testing with the physical servers or on-premise or a cloud environment, is there anything that performance test engineer should be aware with respect to that cloud related performance engineering?
Okay, so whatever, if there is, see, whenever some resource join a project, right, they will give a KT session based on, first they will evaluate you whether that candidate is suitable for that project or not, based on his past experience, right? So if they feel that the candidate is capable to do that, anyways, they will give an initial KT session. They will give KT session, some KT sessions go for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Okay. There, suppose if you kept, if your experience is on only on-premise applications, let's say the candidate worked on only on-premise applications, but if they feel that the candidate is capable of learning things, yes, they will, they will definitely absorb him, and they will give some KT session on cloud concepts and all. If he doesn't know, if that is something new to him, right? Whenever, like, we are onboarded to a project, definitely there will be some project related KT sessions.
Okay, thank you, Pawan. Thank you.
And if you are already aware of those cloud concepts, it's well and good. You can easily grasp the things and you can easily manage. Right?
Okay.
And coming to your point, right? So there will not be much difference between like on-premise and a cloud-based application. Okay, there won't be much difference, at least in scripting and test executions. Monitoring and analysis differs, right? So suppose if I think that is too early to explain. Suppose if your application is running in AWS, you will have some monitoring tools like AWS CloudWatch. If it is hosted in GCP, Google Cloud Platform, there you have some I couldn't recollect the tool name, but it has its own monitoring tool. GCP has its own monitoring tool. Google Cloud Console, yeah. We use Google Cloud Console, something called Google Cloud Console to monitor, right? So, and all these, like you will get in the, like most of the projects, like 99% of the projects, like you will get KT session from, someone who is previously working or someone from the development team or, who are the seniors in that project, right? So they will be explaining, they will be giving KT session to the new resources. Okay. Nothing to worry about that. So all we need is like, we should be strong in performance testing concepts and tools, right? Based on, of course, that depends on the experience, how many years of experience, we are anyone is claiming.
Okay, Pawan. Thank you.
Okay. Any other queries? Can I pass recording? Okay. And like if the project is already running, right? So when someone new member is onboarded, right? Means some new member joined the project, they will give you like, they will give you a walkthrough of the critical business flows, all the critical business flows. They will give you script walkthrough, right? If there are already scripts, existing scripts, they will explain you all the scripts, like what we are covering in this script, what we are covering in this script, right? They'll be explaining all those in the KT sessions. Okay, they will not just give you project and ask you to do everything from scratch, right? Unless until it is a new project, brand new project, there will be a lot of KT sessions that will be given once the resource is onboarded, right? Only thing is like you have to communicate well in the KT sessions. You have to understand, you have to focus and understand in the KT sessions, and like you have to ask some questions, right? When can you ask questions? If you understand and assimilate the concepts, then only we can ask any meaningful questions, isn't it? Right? So if you keep silent in the KT sessions, then once you start working, you will get a lot of questions, lot of queries, right? By the time if KT sessions are completed, right? So you cannot, go back and ask basic questions, right? Yes or no, guys?
Yes,
So
sir.
that you should be focusing, okay, in the KT sessions or, even in our training sessions, right? So please be vocal, or please be, respond to, keep talking or asking questions. When can you ask questions? If you understand the concepts in the session itself, then only you can ask. So one problem with this recorded session is some guys will not, focus 100%, will not pay 100% focus. A recorded session ఉంది కదా తర్వాత చూద్దాంలే అని సరిగా వినరు. Those will not make best optimum utilization of the trainings. Only when you focus during the sessions, right, you will be able to clarify your doubts. You will get some doubts, then you will be able to clarify doubts immediately, right? And also you should be speaking, please, don't keep silent. Keep on asking questions, okay? Throw a number of questions at me, okay? If I don't know, I will explore and get back to you. So it's no, there is, I may not be knowing 100%, right? So if I don't know something, I will explore that and I will get back. But you should not hesitate to ask any questions. No. And one more thing, like in the initial 1 month, you should not hesitate at all. So adi chinna doubt, whether it is a small doubt or silly doubt, you should express that, you should ask that and get it clarified. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Because after 1 month, you cannot ask silly doubts. You'll say like, oh, you yourself will hesitate to ask silly doubts after few days, right? So make best use of these, initial training sessions. And that's the reason I ask everyone to turn on the camera, so that I can see like whether they are listening to the sessions or some people joining the training sessions and they will be doing their work, right? So some people join the training sessions while they are driving also. I have, strange experiences with the previous batch students. So a few of the previous batch students. Okay. They join the sessions while driving. Okay. So that's the reason I ask, like to turn on the camera. Like if I am feeling that you are not focusing, everyone is not focusing on the sessions, I'll ask to turn on the camera. All right, guys, I'll stop it here for today. Okay. Let me pause.
Okay,
recording.
sir.
Yeah. So for recording purpose, thanks for watching and like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. So this may be one of the last 4 to 5 demo sessions, right? So once, once I start the tool also, I'll upload some initial 2 or 3 sessions as public videos. So stay tuned. And if you want to enroll for the training, so contact me on the number that is being displayed here. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good night.